Well, hello folks, and welcome to an absolutely messy day and weekend here in Nova Scotia. It is going to be a crappy weekend weather-wise. Middle of January, and it's going to be +10 and raining like crazy tomorrow. But anyway, let's get right into the video because I'm getting absolutely soaked. Okay, so hopefully there's no water on the lens. This is my 2021 F450 Platinum. I've had this for pretty much exactly 2 years now. It's got basically 100,000 kilometers, so 60,000 miles on it. And you know, we'll talk about my experience with it. As a whole, I absolutely love this truck. This is the favorite truck that I've ever owned in my entire life. An absolute dream truck for me that came through, but it has not been perfect. It has not been perfect. I've had a couple trim pieces replaced on it due to some fitment issues. One being this trim piece right here. When it came, there was a big lip here, and water could literally get right underneath here. But you can still see that these don't line up. Nothing really on this truck lines up 100%. There's definitely some fitment and some QC issues on this truck. A couple things on the outside, and then there's a few on the inside as well. This one here, you can see, is lifting as well. So nothing perfect about this truck, but let's jump inside and talk about a few other issues before I get into, you know, all the good stuff. Okay, well, I am officially soaked, that's for sure. Okay, so first things first. Now I'm going to be nitpicking here a little bit, but you got to keep in mind how expensive this truck is. But I did get it just before things went absolutely bonkers with pricing. First thing that I noticed when I bought this truck is the stitching here on the dash. If you look, it's got a nice line that comes down, and then it just about runs right off this piece, and then it jags itself back in. I had a 2020 Platinum 350, and it was perfect. There was none of these issues whatsoever. Another thing is, say hi, Bauer. Hi. Hi. You see that slider piece right back there for the window? That drops all the time. There's, you know, the foam here in the front is lifted over in the corner, but that, you know, again, these are all minor things. The sunroof's pretty loud when you're on bumpy road. I might see if I can catch some while I'm going here. Another thing that used to happen that doesn't happen anymore is this pillar was a bit noisy when I hit bumps and stuff, but that seemed to go away. Which is kind of weird. But what else for fitment? Not a fitment issue, but the seat belt. The seat belt will lock me in place, you know, more than what it should. I understand on bumpy roads and stuff it will lock you in place, but this one locks me in place more than what it really should. What else? Well, okay, so those are like minor fitment issue stuff. Now, the big thing with this truck is it actually did leave me stranded alongside the road once, and this is the first truck that I've ever had do that. Luckily, I was not far from home, and what it turned out to be was the battery junction box, aka the fuse panel underneath the passenger side of the hood. Water got in there somehow, I guess, and it caused a bunch of issues. It actually ended up blowing a hole right through the bottom, and it fried the one harness that plugs in the bottom. And you can think, basically, those harnesses run your whole truck. So I noticed a few things going on for a little while with this truck. When it was raining like today, the mirrors would extend out, and you couldn't bring them in, and you could hear the motor running non-stop. And also there was just a couple other little weird things, like you know what your ABS brakes sound like when they're like locking up and they're ticking. Every once in a while the truck would sort of make that noise, but it wasn't applying the brakes or anything, but it'd make that noise, which is weird. Anyway, and then one day it just catastrophically failed, and it left me alongside the road. Like I said, luckily I wasn't far from home. So those are the issues that I had with the truck. And you know, that one issue was pretty bad. Obviously, if I was on the road working up in New Brunswick or something like that and it let go, that would not have been good. But at the start of this video, I said that I absolutely love this truck. And I do. I absolutely love this truck. This is the most capable truck that I've ever owned, the most comfortable truck I've ever owned. The 2020 350, you know, obviously that was right on par with this one, being the platinum and all. The ride is really good actually for a 450 with the payload this has, the suspension that it has. It's the ride's really good. I've done a few things. So right off the get-go, I put airbags on this truck and a compressor that I have mounted underneath my my rear seat. And if the rain slows down a bit at some point in time today, I will pull over and show you a few things. Underneath the hood, I have the Banks air intake. And I also have the Banks pedal monster and the data monster, as you've seen in this truck. And those coupled together have turned this thing into an absolute beast. It was a beast before, but with that pedal monster and the intake, and it's crazy. If this is the first video that you've ever watched of mine, go back, check out some videos of this. It's been in some really bad situations, hauling 30 to 33, 34,000 pounds on a regular basis. I've got gooseneck trailers, 8.5 ton, 9.5 ton excavators, skid steers. I travel all over the Maritimes and do work, which is why the mileage is so high. So 99,070 kilometers is exactly what's on this truck right now. Those have not been easy kilometers whatsoever. Ignore that engine light right there. There was a minor little code that came up. It was the DEF heater flipped the code once, and there's nothing actually wrong with the truck, but I have to take it to the dealer to get that taken away. I can't do it with my pedal monster. It's one of those codes that you pretty much have to take to a dealer or like a high-end scanner. But anyway, we're gonna jump on the highway and I'm gonna give it a little bit of juice and you can just see how this thing performs. Butter smooth shifts, extremely quick. Yeah, this thing is an absolute beast. I can only imagine what the new Power Stroke is going to be like with that 1,200 foot-pound of torque. That's going to be crazy. So another thing that I did to this truck was I seriously upgraded the tires. The Continentals that come on this truck, they're pretty good, but they wear kind of weird. The front tires always wear weird on these trucks, it seems like, with the wide front axles. And whether it's been my 450 or my 550, they just seem to wear weird. But these ones have held up pretty good. And these are the Michelin XDE 2 Plus, and I upped the size big time. The factory size is 225/70 19.5. I've got 265/70 19.5 on the factory wheels on this truck. It brought me up like 2 inches and it gave me a ton more ground clearance. I lost a little bit of performance, obviously, because they're so much heavier and so much bigger. But man, what a game changer for looks wise too. Like it looks pretty awesome. I'll do a walk around later on in the video. You can see from behind how it gives it that nice profile. You've seen the front, but yeah, no, I absolutely love this truck. Like I do, I really do. Sitting in the driveway, I see this thing and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go for a drive, let's hook up to a trailer, let's go. Like I look forward to hauling with this truck. And again, like I've had this up in Cape Breton in the winter time and snowstorms, hauling 30,000 pounds, 32,000 pounds behind me with the factory tires, and it made it. You wouldn't want to do that with just any truck. All right, well, Bowers dropped off at his grandparents for the weekend, and now we're cruising here on the McKay Bridge, going from Dartmouth to Halifax. And you know, you would think that a big truck like this would be kind of hard driving in around town, you know, with traffic and all that sort of stuff. Well, it's not. It's actually really easy, and there's a few reasons to that. One, obviously you're high up, and especially now that I've got the bigger tires on, like I'm really high up, you can see a lot of things. But the overall view, like vision in this truck is really good. For one, if you need to, this thing has a ton of cameras, which honestly I don't use. The only camera that I ever use really is my backup camera when I'm hooking up to a trailer. I don't even really use my cargo cam because the quality in the camera really isn't very good, and it's tough to line up with the ball. So I typically just do it the old school, old-fashioned way. But the thing most that makes this truck, you know, nice for driving around town, even in parking lots and stuff like that, is the wide front axle. With that wide front axle, you get such a good, you know, turning radius. You can pull into parking spots so much easier than if this was a 350 dually. Like this actually is easier to get into parking spaces and turn and things like that than what my 350 is, my 2500, you know, all those trucks. This is actually the easiest one for that reason. For that wide track front axle. Well, all right, we are nearing the end of this one. The one thing I did forget to mention was that this thing actually gets like really good fuel mileage for, you know, a 430 rear end, super capable truck, and you know, with bigger tires on it, it actually gets really good fuel mileage. 10-speed definitely helps that, that's for sure. I guess in the end, the best way to sum everything up, I always say this, is, you know, would I buy this truck again? Absolutely, I would. Absolutely. Probably not the same spec. I don't think I'd buy a Platinum again. You know, in my mind, you're paying for the powertrain, the capability of the truck, and you know, there's a lot of money in options, like a lot of money in options, but these trucks are getting so expensive. It's like almost $100,000 to get an XLT in this trim right now, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. But that's another story. All right, guys. So as promised, here is the like stance from the back with those tires. You can see that it just looked proper. It looks absolutely proper with those tires on it. I can't even envision the truck now without this size tires on it. Like, I really can't, no matter what I do. This is what it's supposed to look like in my mind. Looks great. I mean, it's a great looking truck. I stopped yesterday when I started this video. It's now the next day. I stopped yesterday at a store, and I walked in, and a guy came out. He looked like he was working for Dexter's. He had a big 8-foot box, long bed, Ford F450, I believe. He got out and he walked up to me and said, "Man, that is a beautiful truck." And you know what? It absolutely is a beautiful truck. Like, it really, really is. There's no way around that. It's a great looking truck, and it's a beast. It's a workhorse. It's awesome. I love it. Like, I love it. Anyway, folks, that is it. If you're in the market for a dually and you're considering a Ford, honestly, in my opinion, just completely skip the 350 dually and go straight to the 450 for the price difference, which is hardly nothing. Trust me, just the wide front axle alone is worth the extra money, but the bigger brakes, the commercial grade tires and rims, all that stuff, the 430 gears, yeah, just do it, please. Trust me, you'll thank me later. But anyway, that's gonna do it, folks. So until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Bye.